It's a pretty tight range, but I think I could still find some good trades. Thanks. Yeah. MMT Indicators.
Top of the morning. It's a little bit after 9 a.m. Look at this big overnight move to the upside. Supposedly it's being boosted by chip stocks, according to CNBC.com. Every morning I usually go to Forex Factory and check for any red flag news. Then I also go to CNBC.com and check for any major headlines. Then I check my higher time frame chart, the 60-minute chart. I've also got the 5-minute chart with very few indicators that I trade off of. And I've got my 1-minute chart that is chock-a-block full of indicators that I just use for monitoring many different points of data on both the NQ and the ES. So looking back on the higher time frame here, look at all these key levels here. We got a value area high back here, another value area high, a yesterday's open, a yesterday's close, previous day point of control, a bunch of key levels from 40 to 60 up here. And then we got a bunch more around 90 to whole number. So if we make it up that high, I'm going to be aware of those levels. I just went for a little short here. Look at point of control up into the wicks of these last 4 candles. We had an imbalance signal to the downside back here and some divergence. Then we got some negative delta coming in on both the NQ and the ES here. I went for just a little short, around 4 points. Looking to retest this previous day VWAP close, this blue dash line. This is from the ultimate VWAP indicator. Previous day VWAP closes. Great key levels to have on your chart. Still getting a drift lower here. We had the cumulative delta background, bearish this whole time. This is the MMT trend and reversal indicator. It's the trend flow background feature. I'm using the cumulative delta from the MMT ultimate delta indicator as an input series on the trend and reversal indicator. If I keep using this chart setup long enough, I might put these chart templates up in the MMT templates product. A lot of this stuff is more or less already in the templates product. The 60-minute chart is already in there. There's definitely a 1-minute chart that's very, very similar. I've just added the flow stack and the fluxometer. This 5-minute chart is pretty basic. We have point of control up into the wick back here on this 5-minute. Check out the wick on the delta on that candle as well. We got this big buy imbalance stuck up here. Trapped a buyer, started drifting lower. I kind of hope we get a little pop up right at the open. I just like the idea of taking a short sometime around the beginning of the open. I would imagine we get a pullback of some kind. See, we have point of control down on the wick of this candle. I really like when the point of control and the wicks line up with a strong imbalance. Got all these trapped sellers down here. We got a nice little pop up after that. So the fluxometer histogram is set to measure the previous bar and the current bar. You can also switch the histogram to measure the last 3 bars, 4 bars, 5 bars, whatever you like. So this is shifting and updating real time based on the current bar and the previous bar, the way I have it set. Same on the 5-minute, except obviously on the 5-minute we're getting a bigger piece of the puzzle because it's scanning up to the last 10 minutes versus up to the last 2 minutes on the 1-minute chart. But on the 5-minute chart, you can see this big sell imbalance stuck down here as well. Right at the bottom of that candle. Trapped all those sellers. Popped up pretty nice. Got a big bottom wick on this 5-minute delta. So I might get that push up that I was looking for and be able to short it sometime around the open. I definitely like the 950 level. We had that big cluster of key levels on the higher time frame from 40 to 60. Got about 10 minutes to go until the open. So we're getting to move higher after the close of this 5-minute candle. Hit that big bottom wick on the delta. Nice strong close to the upside. 77% positive imbalances. Getting a nice push up here. We've had green on green action on the 1-minute. Cumulative delta background has been green. The double Heiken Ashi has been green. Positive delta on both the NQ and the ES the whole way up. Positive imbalances. Alright, I had to go for the short. We got about 15 seconds until the open, but we pulled right up to the 50 level. And we just dropped off over 15 points there. I'd been looking at that level on the higher time frame since earlier today. We got the move up like I was looking for, and I got my short that I was looking for. So now that the market is open, just gonna wait a little bit, see what it wants to do. We're getting a bigger drop here. Got to scrunch down these charts, get ready for the volatility. I've got my charts set to center, so the close of the last bar is always going to be on the center of the chart. Still positive on the percentage of imbalances on the 5-minute candle here. Trying to pop up a little bit. Just giving it some room to breathe. The first few minutes of the New York Open can be pretty wild and whippy sometimes. Trying to stay focused in my 1 hour of trading from 9:30 to 10:30. Only take the best of the best opportunities. Still staying positive on the percentages on the 5-minute and the 1-minute. Got some imbalances to the upside. Delta on both the NQ and the ES has remained positive. Almost just grabbed a buy right here. We had this previous volume level and a pivot point. We were bullish on the cumulative delta still. Had all this positive delta coming in on this previous candle. As we were pulling down, almost pressed the button. Popped up over 15 points. It just moved too far by the time I got ready to press the button. But now we got the negative delta pouring in. Still open to a bounce trade, maybe around the 50s, whole number or VWAP, just depending on what price is doing, when and if we approach those levels. Getting a little hold up at this previous day VWAP close here. Just got a 20-point bounce up from this previous day VWAP close level. We came down to a pre-market center here a couple times. Keep projecting off a pre-market center. See the double Heikin-Ashi from the flow stack has been bearish for the entire New York session so far, at least by the time the bar closed. So the flow stack is painting the candles when the NQ and the ES are both bullish or bearish on the Heikin-Ashi. It's one of the many potential uses of the flow stack. Just got a washout signal on the start of this candle. Instantly popped up right off of the 250 SMA here. Just popped up 20 points. We got a lot of negative delta coming in on the ES there, and we're pushing right back down. This 5-minute candle closed with a big bottom wick. Point of control down into the wick. Also a big sell imbalance down here. Next 5-minute candle open, we're getting a push higher. This is a very bullish candle. That washout signal ended up being pretty dang accurate there. Check out the wick on this 1-minute delta candle. I gotta stop blabbering and going back to focusing on trading. Either that or just keep practicing more. Try to get good at trading and talking about my trading at the same time. That's one of the main reasons that I wait until after I take a trade and then explain it. Because trying to explain everything as it's happening kind of takes away from my focus of the actual trading, at least with my current skill set. So we've got 2 minutes left until this 5-minute candle forms. And I'm noticing as we're coming down here, we're still bullish on the percentage of imbalances to the upside, 84%. I almost bought down here a couple times. It's popped up more than 10 points a couple times already. Now we got the positive delta coming in. So if price is coming down and the percentage of bullish imbalances is still positive and it's getting close towards the close of the end of a candle, something that might be worth paying attention to. I'm still just figuring out all the different ways that I want to use this information to trade, because I just created these tools. I've never seen anything like it before, especially with the percentages of imbalances. So I'm just learning how I want to trade with it. I've already found many helpful ways. I'm sure there will be a lot more. Look at all these imbalance signals to the upside. This is from the MMT polarity. As we're popping up here, the cumulative delta background has been green. Delta's just steadily rising here. Not so much on the ES, but the NQ delta has been rocking. I was tempted to take another short up in the 50 area, just based on the ES delta lagging as we're moving up here. It did start to pick up right at the end, but on most of this move it was definitely going in the opposite direction of the NQ. Would have been a nice trade there. Just dropped down over 40 points from the 50 level. Alright, I'm going to have to go back to focusing on trading and explaining after the fact. I wonder about live streaming for sure, if I'd be the absolute worst live streamer ever. Almost just took this short. Look at the delta, super strong delta on the NQ at 569, strong delta on the ES. Nice strong bearish close there. Almost hit the button. Definitely would have got my 10 points pretty much instantaneously. I'm stuck in analysis mode with all the talking and explaining I've been doing. It's interesting having the YouTube channel and trying to provide examples of how the indicators are working and things like that. It's absolutely affected my trading. A little bit for the better, a little bit for the worse. But overall, having a good time. Definitely want to make 2026 the year that I bring back the focus to my trading. The indicator collection is pretty much complete. I've got some upgrades to a couple of the indicators that I'm still working on, and then I might or might not release this volume profile. But other than that, I've created everything that I want to create, that I want to trade with personally. I'm in the process of moving over to a much easier authorization system, so be ready for some news about that. All right, I just took a long. It was based off of strong delta coming in on the ES and the NQ. They're both very strong. Just had a buy imbalance here, another buy imbalance here. We came down to the 50 level and started rejecting. So I hopped into a long there, got filled for 10 points pretty much instantaneously. Thanks to the flow stack for showing me the delta on the NQ and the ES live in real time as it's coming in, and for the MMT polarity for showing me these imbalance signals. I have not seen anything worth trading for the past 15 minutes or so. Look at this price action on the 1 minute. Very, very tight range here. We're hugging this 250 SMA. Got about 15 minutes left until 10:30. I'm just waiting for something juicy. Price action still is not going anywhere. Look at these 5-minute candles, wicks on both sides. I've resorted to answering emails and trying to do something else with my life. I imagine sometime between now and 10:35, I'll find at least one more trade. All right, I hopped in on this short. Only got 4 or 5 points. Check out this candle with the big wick. Point of control up into the wick, tiny little body. On this candle, we just started coming in fast and furious. The strong negative delta. Hopped into a little short. Wasn't sure if we were going to finally break this level or just get another fake out, so I hopped out right when we came down to this level right around the 250 SMA and pre-market center. Pre-market center and the 250 SMA have been holding for quite some time now. So it's 10:34. I'm just going to be done for the day. I'm sure as soon as I step away, the price action is going to get better. But up pretty good in the accounts. Took some good trades. Anyone that's out there using code MonkeyMan is the absolute best. Thanks so much for your support. There are links to all of the MMT indicators in the description. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. I wish you best of luck in your trading. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.